What's going on YouTube? Carfy King here. So today, guys, I wanted to just wanted to go over my deck list for new. If you guys don't know, Assassin is probably my favorite class in the game right now. New is my favorite hero, and I just really enjoy her game style, her how she's playing, and things like that. And kind of like what Assassin wants to do is I want to ask you questions, and then when you answer the questions, I can react upon that. What she's basically a seductress. I pulled up a page here for her. She's basically like a seductress. She uses her opponent's cards against them. She has, first off, the artwork's amazing, but she has a lot of different reactions and ways that she has access to that a lot of the other assassins don't have access to. But I just love her style of play. I love her game. I love everything that she does, and she's definitely. I'm definitely locking her in for ProQuest, which I have this Sunday, but I'm not sure which list I want to go with. Whether I want to go with a list of high chi, some low chi, things like that. So, but I'm definitely most likely going to lock her in, for my first ProQuest tournament. Now, I wanted to just give you guys, give you guys like an initial deck tech of what I'm working with, and let you know this is my high chi version. I do have another version which is low chi, but I wanted to give you guys kind of the high chi version. This is definitely one of the most fun versions to play. It uses a lot of the mystic techniques, and especially her Mask of Recurring Nightmares is great. So let's get into it. So basically, what New's hero ability is that my attacks with stealth, which is one of the assassin mechanics, get the ability to banish your opponent's cards at the when the chain link resolves. Now, there's another hero called Aurora, and she has a card called Electromagnetic Somersault, which when the chain link resolves, you can bounce your like for instance, you can block 6 with 2 attack action cards, and then you can play that, bounce them back to your hand. So they'll resolve blocking, and then they'll bounce back to your hand, so that she can come at you with a 3-card hand. She'll block 6, come at you with a 3-card hand. Well, with New's, because there's turn player priority, when the chain link does resolve, New's ability will go first before Electronic Somersault and banish those cards, and then Electronic Somersault will then kick off. So if your opponent does do that and they're not aware of that interaction, then you just went super plus on them, and they may have blocked you, but they also lost their cards, and now they're down 3 cards. They have 1 card in their hand, and they're not doing anything on their turn. You just punish them just based upon in the rules and her ability. So that's really strong. Her instant ability lets you pitch a chi card, and allows you to play your opponent's blue cards from their banish zone for free. But you also get to look at the top of your opponent's deck and banish a blue card if it's there. It's not a blue card, put it face down, but you still have more knowledge than your opponent about what is on top of their deck, so you can plan accordingly for the turn. Now, for the equipment, I'm going kind of with a standard loadout initially. Arousing Wave and Undertow Stilettos. Both of these give you Faint Strike and Slither token, so it lets you climb over things if I need to. It lets you go again if you need to extend your turn any. But also I really like to use both of these in conjunction with like Bonds of Agony, or if I have a really good play extension, I could use stilettos, like play like a stealth card, break stilettos, then play another stealth card, or use the opponent's card from their banish zone if it's like they have like a good blue, like an Autumn's Touch or something like that. But really a lot of times is you get your block value out of it, and then depending on the situation, I like to usually wait for it to when I draw a certain card like Bonds of Agony, which is one of the most powerful cards in this deck, and go from there. So then for the weapons, and then obviously the chest piece is Fendel's Spring Tunic, best chest piece in the game. I think this is like, I literally have said this is just the assassin default chest piece. Every assassin runs this. I don't really, Redback Shroud isn't great, and I kind of wish we would get a really good chest piece for our class, but until then, we're just going to be running Spring Tunic till we die. For the weapons, we have Mistblade and Scale Peeler. Now, I'm only using Mistblade and Scale Peeler as my only weapons, and the reason is because Mistblade is one of the most threatening daggers, in the assassin pool, and obviously Nuke is the only one that can use it because it's a mystic. But what it does is allow for play extension. The +1 go again is great. It turns like surgical extraction into a 5, which you can chain, like you can like pitch, throw surgical for 5, go again. Your opponent can block that out, but then you can send a prognosis and possibly get another card out of their hand, or depending on your resources, follow up with like a leave no witness, a 0 for 4. So then it's like, all right, well, you blocked a bunch from your hand to prevent me from destroying your hand. Now I can threaten your arsenal. So I kind of like went around. I was like, I'm gonna grab some of your hand, I'm gonna grab your arsenal. So this is one of the things that this blade allows if your opponent lets it hit. Scale Peeler, so this is basically like an extender. Scale Peeler, the reason why I want Scale Peeler is I'm talking with people in the Assassin Discord, and Spider's Bite is decent, but really it's really only good if you're doing Spider's Bite in a CNC. There's quite a few decks that have a lot of some really good armor pieces, and being able to hit with Scale Peeler, which one has piercing too, and then help hits their armor. So if they have like temper, you can really just say, hey, you're going to get -1 block and only 1 block out of it during the game. It pretty much locks up your opponent's armor from them actually wanting to use it to block with. Plus, it also helps, like, if you're doing a Codex play, you do Scale Peeler into Leave No Witness. Now, they may not be able to use their armor to help protect their arsenal. They're going to have to give you 2 cards, bringing them from, a 3-card hand down to a 1-card hand. So Scale Peeler has worked out very well, and I like having, me guys, I like having a very tight, clean deck list. And if I can reduce, certain things to the bare minimum amount that I need to compete, then I'll do that. But then we have Mask of Recurring Nightmares. I have the extended art version. This is one of the most fun cards in the game. I absolutely love this card to death. All you do is, once as an attack reaction, you pitch a chi. Your opponent chooses a card from their hand and banishes it. Simple. You just get rid of one of their cards in their hand. Outstanding card, and it's an attack reaction, so it works with Bonds of Agony. It's such a good card. And in this version, obviously it's a card where and it blocks for 2, but obviously it's a card that kind of sits around until you draw one of your chi cards to use. So that's kind of like the only downside of it, is that you want to use this every turn. The problem is that you're not going to have your chi card every turn, or you're not going to draw a hand where you can utilize your chi card, and then things like that. So there are definitely some inconsistencies with this card as well, but it's such a good card that if you're playing a version of the deck that's using a high amount of chi, you want to definitely make sure that this is like your key headpiece to use. Now, going into the rest of the deck, they're, the 2 staples, Command and Conquer, Enlightened Strike, as far as the reds go. These are just 2 generic cards. This is Great Arsenal Disruption. I usually think this is like a generic / assassin card, because every assassin has to play it. Our whole thing is being able to disrupt the opponent and force blocks out, destroy their arsenal, getting rid of their things, and really kind of grinding them down that way. Enlightened Strike is just a good card for 2-card hands. It lets new play on a smaller hand. It blocks for 3, so it's a good blocking card. You could draw a card to set up for next turn, and new is actually does like to draw cards, because we can really pretty much almost use anything in the deck, just because we have a higher blue count. So that's great. Now, I've teched in Death Touch, and the reason why I've teched in Death Touch is, 1, it's one of my favorite assassin cards. 2, it gives us an extra outlet for our Codex plays, because sometimes you swing with Dagger and then you have 1 floating left over. Well, you're not going to be able to use that one floating, especially if you don't have Tunic up for Command and Conquer. You can use your Leave No Witness, which is again another of my favorite cards, and but then you'll have one left over. But the Death Touch can come in handy, one, because it's a card that you can just sit in your arsenal. If you hit with Mistblade, you can do combos where you can go Mistblade into a blue stealth, block the blue stealth, pay one, go into Death Touch. With your leftover resource that you pitched for the Mistblade. Now you can't play it from hand, so a lot of the times you'll end up just throwing this out as a block just to get it into your graveyard for Codex plays. But if that's not the case, and you can have an efficient turn and then arsenal it, then great. Arsenal this card, and then it can come out when your opponent least expects it. And there's like, dang, a 6-power attack that gives me an inertia, frailty, or blood rot token. Definitely nasty. And obviously Leave No Witness isn't the other red attack. It's one of my favorite attacks. It's a 0 for 4. If it hits, banish their arsenal and the top card of their deck, and for every red card you make a silver token, which new actually can use because you can pitch into silver for your levels of enlightenment to increase the amount of blues in your pitch zone for that card. So it's actually not bad, and it helps filter your hand. So we're going with that. So those are like pretty much the staple red attacks. For reactions, we have Hiss, which gives us Go Again, which is a double reaction card if we've pitched a blue card to give us a Slither token, so Go Again. Venom Bite, we're running 2 copies of this. +3, Fang Strike, +1, another double reaction. The double reactions are important for Bonds of Agony. And then obviously Just a Nick, probably the best reaction in the deck. 0 for 5 gives your target attack action card with +1 or less base +5. And if it's stealth, you can banish the top card of their deck. Outstanding card. And the one thing about this deck is that I wanted to make sure that anytime we saw one of our 1-power blues, we could use it. I just wanted my deck, so I'll show you a card I took out for it, but I wanted this deck to work with anytime I drew Just a Nick, if I have a blue card in hand and it's not like a cheat card, then it is a stealth card, or it's a if it's not a cheat card or surgical, then it's a stealth card I can use with Just a Nick. It's that good. For yellows, we're just playing Codex of Frailty. My dream is to get 3 copies of the alt art, but this card is fantastic. Obviously the way we assassins use it is we block out a bunch, or we use our whole hand, and then we play Codex of Frailty. We get your opponent's going to discard a card and put a card in their arsenal. You're going to just put a card in your arsenal. Usually the card you want to put in your arsenal is either Leave No Witness or Command and Conquer, and then send the attack and blow up their arsenal, or force them to give up a lot of cards from their hand. And then it's like, okay, well, I know what's in your arsenal. You gave up all these cards from your hand. Can you still pay for the card? If yes, if not, if so, then that. And plus you get a ponder token, so you get to set up a 5-card hand afterwards. Easily one of the strongest cards in the game. Going further into our blues, we have a whole host of blue stealth cards. I'll go over the blue stealth cards before the cheat cards. So the stealth card we got Desire Mind. If it banishes a blue, we draw a card, gain a life. So when we hit, we banish the top card. This is one of our blue stealth cards we get. Bonds of Attraction. We get the top card of their deck and then a card from their graveyard. If we banish 2 or more cards with the same color, we'll gain 1 health. Infect, if it hits, they get a Blood Rot token, another very strong stealth card here. And then I have Sedate in the deck. So this flex spot for stealth cards is something that I've been playing around with changing. It was Pick to Pieces, but then against one of our worst matchups, which is Enigma, Pick to Pieces, they're happy to just kind of like overblock for that and things like that. It didn't really matter. Sedate, I found that it's good into a little bit more overall matchups, especially with the new Earth heroes and the Lightning heroes. They definitely want to keep an arsenal. Like Lightning heroes want it for a 5-card hand. Earth heroes want it because they want to they can block 9 and then send like a Plow Under Fear or a Felling of the Crown or something like that. And Sedate just doesn't let them keep an arsenal for the turn. You know, if it hits, give them that inertia token. And so I've been finding a lot more value in that inertia token more so than, you know, running pick to piece and stuff. So that's just a little bit more taxing for them. And then obviously the number one stealth cards. We have Bonds of Agony. This card is everybody fears this card. If once they see Bonds of Agony, they go into a oh shit moment, you know. So you know, if they let me hit and I've done 3 reactions, I'm ripping a card from their hand, and then I'm ripping I'm ripping more copies of that card straight out of their deck or from their graveyard. And the fact is, I get to look at their deck and rip cards out of it. Unreal. This card is absolutely amazing. Plus, it gains power if you've opened 3 reactions. Prognosis, my other favorite stealth card. Absolutely amazing. When it hits a hero, you can banish the top card of their deck, and then you look at their hand, banish a card of the same color, and then anytime you banish an action card with her, you gain 1 health. Funniest thing is, with New's ability, like your opponent blocks with 2 action cards on a Prognosis, and when the chain link resolves, you're banishing those action cards, you're gaining 2 health, 1 health for each. This card is really good. The incremental health gain is really nice. I really like it. And you know, things like that. Now, for the other blue cards, we have Levels of Enlightenment, which is you know, just one of the best blue, you know, Mystic cards. It's basically like Enlightened Strike, but the blue version of it. We call it B Strike. Draw a card, +2, go again, but its condition is just having for each blue card pitch. So like I said, with Leave No Witness, if you hit, you generate silver, you can pitch more blue cards into silver to draw cards, and then you can pitch or play Tunic to play this, and then activate modes off this. The other interaction with this card is your Beckoning Mistblade. If your Beckoning Mistblade hits, so like you pitch a blue, float 1 resource, hit with Beckoning Mistblade, you get your next blue card gets +1 and go again. Well, this card, it has +2 go again, so this will just be 4 go again, and then all you need to do is choose draw a card. That is extreme value out of this card if they let if they let it hit. It's a massive extender for New's game plan. So this card is really good, and you definitely want to make sure you have it. And then obviously one of the strongest blue cards in Assassin, Surgical Extraction. If it hits, I'm ripping a card. I look at their hand, I rip any card out. If it's anytime I banish a blue, I get a silver, and I get to rip a card off the top of their deck too. Again, the whole thing I like to do with Assassin, I just love ripping cards. Rip your arsenal, rip your hand, rip the top of your deck. I'm getting rid of stuff. But the thing about New is that I get to use the blues that I rip from you. So, you know. And then we have, for my cheat cards, Homage to Ancestors to gain 1. The only cheat card I'm not playing is a Drop in the Ocean, because you know I don't really, that card has weird applications, and it doesn't really fit what this deck wants to do. So I'm just running the 8 other ones, including her Sacred Art and her Current Desires. Really good card. We have a lot of blues in the deck, so we're definitely able to get this off and set it up. So yeah, so running the 8 cheat cards. And then Sideboard, we have 2 Fate Foreseen, 3 Sink Below, just generic 4-block defense reactions, just for just for if I need to bring in a defensive package. Looking for Scrap or Hurl. So looking for Scrap, when you banish a 1 cost from your graveyard, it gets 5. It becomes a 5 go again. We're playing a ton of 1 cost, so this card like comes into like 90% of the matchups. It's just really strong. Hurl is in here really for matchups where I need to go wide, like into Enigma, where I just need to find ways to just keep attacking you and extend my turn. So like against Enigma, the strategy really, is pitch into your daggers as much as possible. Find your extenders like your Hurl, your Looking for Scrap, your Enlightened Strike, your Levels of Enlightenment, and then just keep going, keep pressuring her wards. Siren's Call. If I'm playing against a hero that I only put it in against heroes that definitely use a lot of blues. So not like any of the lightning heroes, but like for instance, like Dash IO. She wants a blue pitch to start her turn. Definitely the Earth heroes. They definitely love their blues. Any of the Mystic heroes, obviously. So anytime you recognize a hero that uses likes having a decent blue base, bring this in. You can play it on a dagger. You can play it on anything. Like for instance, if you swing your Mist Blade, your opponent blocks your Mist Blade from hand. You can react with Siren's Call to see if you can rip another card out of their hand, and then if it's a blue card, you get to draw a card. It is absolutely fantastic. Then we have the Weakest Link, which will hit any card that has if it hits, we can hit a card without base. A lot of decks nowadays have instants like Sigil of Solace. In Sigil of Solace, they can just play their instants out. But against the Mistveil heroes, this card is extremely strong. Against some of the new heroes who may not want to defensively play some of their instants, this can either force the instant out, or if they have to take the hit, then bada bing bada boom. This is going to be ripping the card and drawing a card. So, and it blocks for 3, so it's just overall good. And then we have Arcane Lantern, Widowclaw Taurus, and Webcrawler. So these two are the new cards from Rosetta. We have these in here just so we're running AB3, Arcane Barrier 3, and Spell Void 2. We have enough blues that we can pitch into it so we don't like auto die to wizards and things that want to deal heavy arcane damage. And then I'm bringing in Vambrace of Determination. Never forget your Vambraces when you're going into a match with Enigma, or even Prism to a degree. But against Prism, I think the standard loadout is just fine. But really against Enigma, you kind of want your Vambrace. Just one is an attack reaction that you pay 1 for, but it can help you get through her, her shields and all of her wards and things like that. I have an extensive maybe board, but these are just other cards I was testing out. But that's the deck profile, guys. This is just like, a fun high chi version. I think it's just still really good. A lot of people who do play a more high chi version to utilize the Mask of Recurring Nightmares. I have another build which uses low chi, but has a better blocking proficiency because these chi cards are also non-blocks in the deck, even though Assassin the cards we play in the deck block well. We have a few of these cards here that don't actually really block for anything, so her blocking prowess is not as good as like what Uziri or Arachnes would be. So this is definitely like a more offensive build, I would definitely say. However, I still like it. But that's the deck profile, guys. Again, if there's anything I can improve for this, let me know. I'll also include a link to this deck list in the description box below as well, so you guys can just click on over and do it. I think I need to update this, but I do have some matchup guide here for it, but I haven't updated it really since the Nat, because I took her to Nats this past summer, so I went to Minnesota, went to Nationals. But I do need to update this for the Rosetta meta, so I'll probably do that before posting it. However, yeah, but that's the profile, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys later.